Hello and a very warm welcome to Daily Dispatch, a show that gives you all the latest news and updates from the digital ecosystem. I'm Priya Sheth. Thank you very much for logging in. Time now to get you all the top news stories that we've been tracking for you this evening. Well, there's a host of news from the corporate space because we've been seeing both global as well as Indian corporates pledge towards COVID-19 relief efforts. First up, we have global IT and professional services company Accenture, which has pledged $25 million for pandemic relief efforts in India. Additionally, the company will be augmenting existing hospitals with beds and ICUs and setting up portable hospitals as well. Now, IT major Capgemini has also committed about 50 crore rupees to augment medical infrastructure in India. Moving on to the second headline of the day, Bajaj Group has pledged an additional financial support of 200 crore rupees towards COVID-19 efforts. The funds will be utilized to alleviate the immediate on-ground challenges as well as to build capability and resources to tackle a possible third wave. Now, this contribution is in addition to the 100 crore rupees contribution by the group last year to support the pandemic. Well, Mondelez International has committed $2 million to support COVID-19 relief efforts in India. This sum will aid in the purchase of medical supplies and other critical equipment for frontline workers in the fight against the pandemic. Well, moving on to the final headline of the day, Amazon has announced that its business in Europe has committed $2.5 million to support people in India impacted by the COVID-19 crisis, and this will happen by purchasing as well as transporting medical supplies. The company is also using its global logistics network to purchase, airlift as well as deliver some of these critical medical equipments identified by the Government of India as well as local charities. Well, moving on to our second segment, I have with me someone who has made waves over the last couple of years, specifically in the business of eyewear. And I have with me Ramnik Khurana from Lenskart. Thank you very much for joining us today on the Daily Dispatch. You've made headlines by the latest acquisition. You've acquired Dairy Joy. So tell us a little bit about this acquisition, because it seems like an acquisition in the B2C space, specifically in the grocery segment. So how is that going to help Lenskart?
Yeah, first of all, Priya, thanks for having me on the show and glad to be here. So about Daily Joy, we are looking at massive increment in our technology team size, and we'll talk about it more later in the segments. But basically, we are looking at massive investments in technology. We are currently a team of 150 members, and we are looking to go to 250, 300 members. So for that, what we wanted to do is expand our presence to Hyderabad region and open our third technology center there. So for initiating that, we were looking for a team which had the right technical capabilities in terms of product engineering and design. But beyond that, we were also looking at the right cultural fit in terms of our values of entrepreneurial mindset and customer obsession. So what Daily Joy team brings to the table is they have people with over 10 years plus of experience in both product and design. This team has stuck together for 5 years, and they have solved tough problems, both first in terms of supply chain in the GST product that they launched a couple of years ago. And then later on, they went on to further launch a consumer facing startup, which is Daily Joy. And after which is when this acquisition happened. So the initial idea is to get the leaders for the Hyderabad center, which will go ahead and then, hire more than 100 engineers in the place and build our team and strength over there.
You at Lenskart have been doing a lot in terms of expansion, in terms of bringing new products to the market, new features to consumers. And over the last year, we've been through a pandemic. We're still going through the second phase, second wave of it. At Lenskart, what do you think has changed in terms of learnings? What have been, specific learnings that have come up to light?
So our learning has been that the trend towards, touchless and contactless will continue. And the more we do to make things easier for our consumers is what will help really go ahead. Just a couple of examples of that. We have always had the facility to book your session before you visit a store, but it is now used much more than ever. We have always had the option for customers to go into the store and seamlessly the store guy knows that what is the with your permission, what is the shortlist that you have, what are the frames that have interested you, and curate a selection for you. But now we use that being used much more because people are looking to get in and out of a store in a jiffy. So we are at our end continuously innovating on those technologies and continuously investing on those technologies. Just to give you an example, right when the pandemic hit, the first thing that we tried to solve for is the number one reason that people visit to stores other than eye checkup is to find out whether the glasses will fit me well or not. So we built a simple tool which runs on all Android phones where you take a simple selfie, and using our machine learning algorithm, it is able to give you the right fitting glasses for you on any cell phone. So those are the things that we are continuously working on and continuously improving on.
When you look at the kind of expansion plans that you have in place, I believe last year as well, you all invested about 380 crore rupees in terms of expansion. So, what is the basic crux in terms of what are you looking at growing, and in terms of expansion, what is lying in the road ahead?
So in terms of expansion, what we are looking at is our mission statement is the same as we had earlier, to reach maximum Indians and people who are in need of eyewear and eye care. Currently, we do more than 500,000 eye checkups in a month. We do more than 300,000 glasses dispatch in a month. And to continue to do that, we are continuously investing in A technology, which is what this Hyderabad center and the continuous stream of acquisitions is for. Second is in our new location, which is being set up, where we are setting up a facility to dispatch more glasses. And third is more touch points for the consumers in terms of our services, which we provide at your home, where you can get a eye checkup done anywhere in the city, at your home or at your, I mean, office is not done as much now, but at your home now. So we are continuously investing in our supply chain technology and all these backend capabilities to make sure that we continue to reach more and more people who need eye correction. And this has come out specifically handy during the pandemic, because a lot of local mom and pop shops were closed. But since we were able to control our supply chain, we were able to continue to operate, and we were able to get glasses to a lot more people who needed them, especially with the work from home pressures and online classes and all of those things going on.
Since you're embarking on this aggressive expansion drive as well in 2021, in terms of targets, I believe you may have put in place a blueprint in terms of a roadmap for FY22. What kind of targets are you working with?
So in our case, what we are looking at is so there are 2 to 3 key components of it. The first one is online will grow massively, and we will continuously invest in the augmented reality that we have launched, wherein you can try glasses sitting at your home. WhatsApp as a channel is something that has grown really big for us, and we will continue to make it big. It has really come in handy because as people come onto the internet for the first time, they are buying glasses because they are in need of it. They might not have even shopped at any other place before. For those people, WhatsApp turned out to be a fantastic channel because they're very used to it, and we have developed capabilities to complete the full transaction on WhatsApp. So we'll double down on that. So online will be a massive big bet for us, and we'll continue to double down on that. We will continue to invest in stores and omni channel. We'll continue with our store expansion plans. And the last one is on the supply chain side. We'll continue to invest in our facilities and functionalities to ship out more glasses, and with a very high quality, because being a medical product, you can't compromise with that at all. And lastly, we are going to enter into Middle East market by July, August this year.
Right. So most of the supplies will be going from India, or will you be setting up a separate unit in Middle East for these for procurement?
So for all of these places, the technology is built in India, as well as the supplies goes from India. So it is from our plant in India only that we supply to these geographies. We already have a presence in Southeast Asia and Middle East, and both the places we continue to supply using our Indian facility.
Right. I want to understand in terms of the kind of revenue growth. Last year, you all crossed 1,000 crore rupees in terms of revenue at the end of last financial year, beating Titan's, I plus range as well. This year, what does the numbers really stack up like? Because in the pandemic, basically, Lenskart has been there, at the right place at the right time, because people have started shopping online for glasses, which was not very common earlier. So in terms of a revenue run rate, where do you stand in the market?
See, revenue-wise, what 2020 has taught us is that if you have conviction and you have got the right fundamentals, you will continue to grow and focus on the right things. You just have to show huge amount of agility to change your plans. We entered 2020 thinking that a large part of component might come from our offline expansion, but we ended up growing by our online expansion a bit more. So what 2020 has really taught us is that plans at the end of the day are plans. You have to have strong fundamentals and conviction towards them. And by the end of the year, we'll be in a much more better shape to tell you where we landed up with. But all I can say is that 2020 was a growth year for us. Less aggressive growth than what we have seen over the past 2-3 years and have been used to, but still a growth year for us. And we are looking at 2021 to be even a better year for us.
Right, you're looking at it to be a better year, but are you looking also at some fundraising, considering that you are looking at some aggressive plans going forward?
No, I think funds wise, we are in a good shape. We don't need to raise more funds right now.
Yeah, Ramnik, I want to ask you one question. Considering that we have so many startups who are watching this show, they've been looking at Lenskart's journey over the last couple of years, and they want to understand what Lenskart did right and how Lenskart could really achieve this kind of success that it did in such a short period of time when there were larger players who were already present in the market.
So for us, I think it was always about, and it will sound a bit cliche, but it was really about listening to the customers and working backwards from there. Like in 2012, 2013 time period, when we first tried a couple of pop-up stores, and they did well. Customers were selecting glasses online and then trying them in the stores and then completing their journey either online or at the store. We didn't worry about opening stores not looking cool or anything of that sort, and just following the customer over there. Or when we initially used Google Calendar APIs and started off our services to get your eyes checked up at your home by a very I would say unrefined model, where we were sending vans to your home with an optometrist and a salesman. It was completely non-scalable at that time. But as things picked up and we scaled past 1,000 appointments a day, stores started kicking in and starting generating new revenue, we obviously refined the model, added more and more technology, and now it's more like like booking an Uber on your app. Just you get to see the nearby optometrist, he comes on a bike, and they're completely profitable. So I think the main thing that we did a lot of experiments and didn't worry about what is looking cool or not, and simply followed the customer and refined it to reach where it has reached so far.
Right. So listening to your customer is a takeaway that I get from what you did say. Many thanks, Ramnik, for joining us today. It's been a real pleasure speaking to you, and I'm sure the people listening out here to this interview will have a lot of insights to take away from this chat. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for your time, Priya.
Well, time now to wrap up this edition of the Daily Dispatch. I'll catch you tomorrow at 5 p.m. Goodbye and stay safe.